My name is Bryce Dowdy, and I was given the opportunity to be an intern for Franchise Sports Media during the fall semester. One of my main goals in this semester was to learn about fast turnaround and making sure that I was able to meet tight deadlines and make sure that everything I was putting out was up to par. I was able to consistently do that every single week. I was in charge of writing at max about 5 articles a week. We would have the high school football preview for the week where I would discuss the games that were going on around the valley. I would also talk about the game of the week. And then on Fridays, sometimes Thursdays, every once in a while there was a Saturday, I would attend the games in person, going to make sure that I get proper notes for every single game going on and recognize all the players for all of their big games. And every once in a while, I'd even get a chance to go on camera for our after show where I would get to interview the coach and or the player of the game and talk to them about what happened, how they felt like they impacted the game, and how their game planning went going into it. I was also given the opportunity to do the exact same thing for UNLV football. They had the UNLV preview. Then I would go to the UNLV game as long as it was at home. I would be up in the press box, getting all the information up there, getting my notes again for the article. And then afterwards, I would go home and I would write it, which would mean a lot of late nights, especially during the Syracuse game, because one of my friends had come down. So that took a little bit longer. But at the same time, just making sure I got it done just before. Normally the deadline was like 4 a.m. So it wasn't like it was too stressful, but making sure I got it done on time as the important part. And then as the season progressed, I was also given the opportunity to do Las Vegas Raiders articles where I was able to recap all of the losses that the Las Vegas Raiders continue to have. Unfortunately, as of yet, I have not covered a win. I have only seen the losses, but kind of happens when the Raiders aren't as good as most people would want them to be. One of the main things that I would say surprised me about this was actually my attention to detail. I normally don't like to take notes in class. I normally don't like to take notes on anything in general. So when I was going to the games, making sure that I was taking the most diligent notes I can, get all the players' names, get the yardages, stuff like that. It helped me out a lot when I was writing the article because then I could talk about more specific things. For example, if a player juked out a defender, I might be able to write that down and make sure I remember it. Or if they were tiptoeing across the sideline or something else like that, I'd be able to change that. Another thing that also impressed me was my word choices. I tried very hard to make sure that the article had different words throughout. I didn't want to use the exact same things each time. Like I didn't want to say the quarterback threw the ball to so-and-so every single time. Instead, maybe they dropped the dime. Maybe they laced one in. Maybe they zipped in a pass. Things like that to try and liven it up. And one of the things that helped me the most with that was actually my boss, Joe Arrigo. He's very easygoing when it came to writing the article. He was very much imposed with the idea of as long as I write it and I think it sounds good, he's also going to say it's fine. He wanted me to put my own spin on it, write my own voice. He didn't want me to write it like he writes it or write it how someone else writes it. And that really helped me grow as a writer because I think as the articles got further down in the season, not only did they get longer because I was able to explain more and I was able to use different words, but I think they became more detailed and more personal to me because I was there experiencing these things. And that really helped me and helped just showcase my abilities going forward. And one of the things we hadn't really discussed going into it that came about was actually me going on camera. There were times where his business partner wasn't there and he was like, "Oh, can you do on camera work today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that." Or there was one day, it was actually the Clark Durango high school football playoff game. He told me he wasn't going to be there. So I was like, okay, me and Ant got this. But then Ant was not also going to be there. So it got down to the point where I was on camera alone. I had to interview the coach, interview the player, and it was all just on me, which wasn't a bad thing because I was able to handle it very well. And I was very adaptable when it came to my role with that. And I think that was just really important for me to make sure that I have all these different changes. I can do all these different things. And I think that was really cool. And so as a whole, my experience with franchise sports media has helped me grow more confident both in on-camera work because of just how relaxed we were, but also in my writing ability because I'm able to put my voice into it and not write it for someone else. I'm writing it just for me, and that's really beneficial to how I wanted to move forward. So I would say a lot of the goals that I had set forth, I did accomplish. I got all of the articles done on time. I wrote at max 5 articles a week, and I continuously just pushed the envelope to make sure that I was putting the best work forward. So I thank Joe for giving me this chance to work with Franchise Sports Media, and I greatly appreciate the opportunities he's given me. And moving forward, I'm actually going to continue working with Franchise Sports Media as an intern again as I move forward through life and continue to help them out. I'll be doing high school basketball in the winter season, so keep a lookout at franchisesportsmedia.com And make sure you just look out for my articles and check out our YouTube. We're on all social media at the franchise LV. Just make sure you follow along, keep up with the journey, and see what else we got for you.